Welcome to the Advancement Centre, and once again, welcome to the world of magic and miracles. As we start elevating ourselves once again, you can feel there's an essence that comes into your presence that's far beyond anything you've ever touched before. This essence is not explainable. It's just like the space between you and everything else. It's an essence that talks to you in a whole different language to what you've ever expressed on this plane. And as it moves in and out of your field, it makes you aware of the fact that there's another opportunity sitting right in front of you every minute of every day. It doesn't explain what that opportunity is, but it attracts you and makes you feel like you have to move forward. This is the area where you start to live a continuous flow that has nothing to do with any intention. It starts as a feeling of opportunity, and before you know it, you are moving in directions that are so simple, so elevated, and so easy that you don't realize you're doing it. Simple things like you may just go and put the garbage out. You may just go and clean something. You may walk out and water the plants. And you don't even realize that you plan to do anything like that. You just find yourself doing it. And it's so easy and so comfortable, you don't even question it. You just float along. And then when you're almost finished what is an unknown task, you're suddenly led into another one that's just as easy again. You never realize that the continuous movement has never been planned or thought about or even considered. You just roll from one thing to another, and the opportunity starts to grow into a reality that is really, really simple. It enables you to do everything that you need to do in the day without even knowing you did it. You find that you're totally satisfied with everything you've done, everything you are doing, and you've got no idea what's coming next, and you never think about it. This is the advancement that we're talking about, where you're actually in the world of magic and miracles. You are exercising your own magic, and the miracle is there's no effort. There's no thought, therefore there's no anguish. There's no wondering, should I or shouldn't I? Because you don't get the opportunity. You end up in places that you never thought you'd go to, even in your own house. You satisfy all the needs in such a short time that you find that the adventure that you've been taken on has landed you in the most comfortable spot you could ever imagine without having to know what makes it up. There's no way of turning that back. once you start with that opportunity that you feel, you can't jump out and head off and do what you used to do yesterday, because you find you've done all those things. It took you maybe a half an hour that would normally take up all day. You have free time and you're still busy, because the flow goes on and it directs the part of you that loves to be directed, and that's not your brain. It directs the part of you that knows how to call on whatever energy is necessary because of that direction. You never get worn out. You never feel tired. You never even consider anything except what you're doing. And even there, it's not a consideration. It's coming from a part of you that doesn't think. It's the ultimate of intelligence, where whatever your system needs to operate, it is attracted from the universe in the exact amount that you need. No more, no less. No sense of overdoing or underdoing. No sense of I have to be careful because of my age. No sense of, wow, that's heavy, or that's light, or I'd rather be going faster. No sense of any of these things, because they were manufactured and they probably have the best name of all. They're acceptable. Acceptable limitations. So acceptable limitations seems to be a good thing in many people's lives. But now you've followed the opportunity, there's not even a question of whether anything's acceptable or not. It just fits. It is provided for, and it's finished beautifully. And if at the end of the day you go to sleep and then wake up early in the morning, you'll find that the effects of the previous day are not there. Excuse me. This is the way we have asked to advance. And it always starts with the first feeling of another opportunity. And the energy behind that will just take that part of your being that can talk to it and start to really stir it up. And so it does disturb every moment, and it does take you out of the acceptable mode. Once you actually feel that opportunity, you can't feel thought. Once you feel your own presence, you can't feel thought. The satisfactory part of your being is suddenly dismembered. Nothing's satisfactory, everything has to be beyond perfect. And that will happen immediately, probably before immediately, so that you never get to the point where you have to ask the question. So now, the first thing your brain says, well, how do I do that? And the answer is you don't. You just get together, you chat, you enjoy life. You do whatever you were going to do and watch it change. And watch it change, and watch it change, and watch it change again. If at one point you decide, well, I have to make a decision, then you've rejected the opportunity. So if you find yourself trying to make a decision about what you're going to do or how you're going to do something, you missed the train. So go back to the start. Even if it's in the middle of the day, you go back to the start, get on the train. And you don't ask, how do I do that? You just do it. Time will just change for you immediately. It'll wind back, it'll put you there. You'll get on the right path and you'll go, that's better, that feels much, much better. And your whole energy system goes, thank you. And you start moving again. It's a little bit like driving the car. You know, if you go up a one-way street and it's a dead end, what do? You can't turn around without breaking the law. So you back up so that people think you're going the right direction, but you're going back to where you started. And there's no other opportunity. So in life, the same thing happens. Just back up. It'll rewind you instantly. Don't look for another path. Just go, okay, now I'm ready to go on the right path. And phoom, you'll be right back there. It's not even a method. It's just, wow, life is perfect. And it's not quite perfect right now, so it's really hard to find where I got off the track. So I'll just go back to the start. I'll just get out of bed again. Like you tell the child, it's having a bad day. Go back and get out the other side of the bed. You might go better. All these old sayings are actually our reality. So some of the funniest sayings you ever come across are actually telling you how to get back to this opportunity where your whole system works by itself. It's a little bit along the lines of if you're a surfer, you know, you get up in the morning and you kick your toe, you break your board, all sorts of things go wrong, and you go, oh, I'll just have to start all over again. Because otherwise, you get on a wave, you'll get crashed, everything goes wrong. So you have to pull yourself together and say, this is not going the right way. I'll just relax for a few minutes and I'll wait until that moment when I feel I can move forward. And you'll see the surfer sitting on the side of the beach or on the side of the road, not moving, and you don't know why, because the time's not right. When the time's right, he gets up, catches a perfect wave, says, right, I'm on track again. Everybody in their life can see that there is a perfect flow. But you don't look for it, you just go to where it is. And if you've got to plonk yourself down and sit for a while, that's what you do. And you don't think about it, you wait until all of a sudden you stand up without any decision. That's what will happen. You'll just stand up and get on with it. Or you might stand up and go and do something else. In our interaction with one another, this is a format that you'll probably recall, where you're having a chat and everything's going really fine. You don't even know what you're talking about. But you're having a great chat, a great visit with somebody, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and wants to control the conversation. And you go, oh. And you don't even know whether you stay there or leave or speak or whatever. This is what happens to the control system in your life. As soon as you walk in and want to control it, it goes, oh. And you wonder why your body starts to feel things wrong with it. And when you do it every day, it bogs down further and further and further and doesn't know what to do. So when you wake up in the morning and you feel like you've got to stay there for the next 2-3 hours so that you can reload all your problems, sit, lift a little, disturb the moment, and you watch what happens. As soon as you disturb the moment, that opportunity comes in and it starts to talk to you. And out of nowhere, you jump out of bed and you start doing things, or you go out or whatever, and you surprise yourself. You can't even remember getting dressed. All a process that you used to spend a lot of time with actually disappears into some place that you don't need to know. So that supercomputer inside you actually takes everything that is not desirable as a focus in your life and shrinks it into a very small component of your life, so that you have what used to be little tiny special times in your life now become your life. All the rest of it shrinks, and it's just like a concertina, you know. You just push this bit up, that's not that important. Open this bit up, that's important. And the flow of your life will maintain that pattern. In the magic of working with sparkles, you can't have any mundane part of your life poking out at you, because as soon as you use the sparkles, it disappears. You can't sit there and say, I'm bored. The sparkles just, that boredom disappears, and you go, wow, but I haven't moved. As each one of us talk about using our sparkles, using our magic, doing the things on this earth that we knew we could do when we were elsewhere, and openly talking to one another about it, the concertina just opens that as your world. And with that as your world, the magic of who you are will overwhelm you. It will shock you, surprise you, put that smile on your face that you can't get rid of. It'll make you do things that would normally embarrass you, and you do them with class. All the things you've been telling yourself, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. Suddenly, you're doing them all. And you're going, oh, no, I shouldn't have. And then as soon as you say, I shouldn't have, it disappears again, because the sparkles don't even agree with shouldn't. And you just get popped out of it, and your moment's disturbed again. And you start to laugh about it rather than be embarrassed. And when you laugh about it, you know it was exactly right for everyone. The gentlest of beings have the greatest ability to disturb the moment. Just remember, maybe a friend or a grandparent's the best. You sit there quietly with a very somber look, and all of a sudden, grandfather will just smile a little and wink. and it breaks everyone up. The whole place comes alive through the tiniest little movement. That's real magic. Just the humour behind being able to turn everybody into raucous laughter without doing anything. So as we move through the universe, you'll find that that happens to you a lot. You think they're all very quiet, all the beings that you supposedly can't see. Then all of a sudden, they'll play a trick on you. You can feel it, you know it, and then all of a sudden, your car keys are missing. And you had them in your hand. And you go, all right, I got it, lighten up a bit. And you walk around looking for hours, and then you say, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do now. You walk back to where you were, and there they are. And your whole life's changed through that little bit of interaction that's the same as the grandfather's wink, with a very, very slight smile with it. Can't overdo these things. So as your day moves on, all this is going to grow on you because it's being given not by anybody, it's been given. And it's therefore yours. And each time you use it, it grows stronger and stronger to the stage where it will lift you off the ground. This is the part of our universe that we said we would show everyone. There's that feeling of opportunity, and as you go with it, because you know it's yours, you start to get lighter. And you'll be led to whatever movement is needed to make you lighter again. And it'll be different every time. One day you might be spinning your energy, one day you might be doing nothing. Other days you might be going, oh, I think I'm going to take off. Because this is our purpose here, to become as light as we possibly can, and to bring into action the interaction between us that actually changes the gravitational field. We've cleaned up the magnetic field so that you're swimming in really nice clear water and you're not like dead fish in a fishbowl. And now it's up for you, or up to you, to play with the gravitational field, which is that sense of opportunity that comes to you as yours. And this is where your head starts to chatter and say, all right, that's really interesting. How the hell do I do that? And the answer is, I don't know. Neither does your head. But you do know it's possible. So that's the first step in dealing with the impossible. So we said last time, we're going to deal with the impossible. We've made the first step. Because there's a little thing in there that says, you know, that's possible. That's a big step forward. The only way that happens is by you feeling it. Not by knowledge, but by experience in other fields that you're aware of through other elements of your being. I often speak about the way we've all bulked all the special signals together and called them emotion. And the only way you can have emotion is if you react. Because it's an unknown signal, it doesn't cause anything like you think it does, but your reaction does. So all these signals, millions of them, come into this one little area that you described as emotion, and you've got 40 million types of reactions. All these are not there when you're being led through a new opportunity. Because the signals that you're using are the ones that you named emotion. But there's millions of them and they're all different and they don't have a name. And you don't react, you move. It directly connects to your motive system. I'll go back to the surfer again. He can be sitting out there just chatting to his mate and then all of a sudden he goes, it's on. And he's out paddling. Looks the same, they sat there for an hour. There's something that comes to him, he says, right, we're ready to go. And next thing the waves come up and off they go. Your timing, even when you walk, is all this motive system that comes to you from a whole different place. There's millions of signals. Person in a hang glider can't see the wind, knows exactly where to go. Hasn't got any machine, knows where to direct himself, whether this is a good or bad way to go, and how to come down or go up. And there is no explanation except all the inputs into our motive system that are there as part of our connection to the earth. Nobody can think fast enough to throw their hand up and stop a baseball coming at their head. But we do it. Even if you're not looking, it's coming the other way. You'll find that your protection is there before you even know the ball's there. These are the many inputs and outputs that we should value so much and not tear them out of the system and say, I don't need you, I've got emotion. Leave them all there. Leave every feeling to go in without reaction. And you watch your magic come alive. Because without all those signals, without all those inputs, you can't offset anything. And they're not just motive, they're also chemical. They will allow you to offset anything that goes into your body that's wrong. Without you taking some more medicine, without you doing anything, as long as you allow every signal to appear and disappear as sharp as it wants to be. So the instant you know to move, you don't question it. You let it go to where it's got to go. And it might be your hand moves up, or it might be you get up and move, or it might be you're going to drink some water. At the same time, the skill of being able to pick up food and say that's good for me or it's good for you, or don't touch that today. We all have it, but we only have it if we let all the signals go to where they're supposed to go. And you just speak. So you pick it up and you don't hum and ha and think about it. You go, that's good, that's a bit sour. I don't think that's good for a man. That's good for a woman. And all the time, it's all connecting into the areas that motivate our movement. That's just a little visitor again. Got a lizard under my chair. Oh, up my leg again. So, you just disturbed the moment again. One of the most beautiful things is to see a person actually aware of everything that comes into their field without even questioning them. And I see that happen. It fades in and out with people. But when they're totally aware of everything in their field, they're really happy in their life. And they're happy in everybody else's life. Because the only way you can be happy in anybody else's life is if you're happy in yours. Because you take your little bubble with you. And so you enter somebody else's world with a bubble that smiles. They can't do anything else but smile. And the interaction produces many things that we can describe. But I think the greatest thing is the aroma of comfort. Not just comfort, but the beautiful aroma that comes with that. And it's not the same as anything else. Sometimes you can attempt to relate it to a flower or a special scent. But it's not. It's a special aroma that goes deep within everybody that comes near it. And that is what allows all your signals to harmonize. And your rhythm within the universe and within yourself becomes perfect, not jerky, not responsive, not reactive. So in talking about comfort and being totally comfortable, we're talking about everything I spoke about earlier. That's going with the opportunity, allowing that opportunity to drive your motive systems, to drive your smile. It will drive every part of your being. And even if you just got out of bed this morning and you think you look like hell, to everyone else you look totally beautiful. Because what they see and feel is that total comfort and the aroma that fills your world. I think we might have a little bit of a break. I could keep going, but we'll have a bit of a break and I'll come back again and we'll talk about a lot more very nice things. Okay, see you soon. So welcome back. What we've been talking about is something that has no real way of summarising because it keeps growing. And each time we talk, we're allowing another channel to open. And as you can imagine, there are a million channels to a million places, times many million more. But each time we open a channel, it is so valuable. It is the ultimate source of everything you need. And because of the continuous movement of the universe, we need to be continually opening new channels and not worrying about whether the other one closes, falls off the end, or whatever. Because we know that there's a part of us that knows how to track that. So the only thing you ever have to worry about is what's new. And if you're only worrying about what's new, there's no rules. Because nobody's ever seen it, nor can they make any rules. And there's no limitation. Because you don't even know what you're looking at. So how can you limit it? You don't know what you're experiencing until you experience it. So the gentle part of your being is the most powerful because it allows all those signals in from the channels that are being tracked by your supercomputer. The gentle part of your being allows non-reactive response and therefore holds everything in your life as precious. So you'll find that almost everything we deal with now will exclude reaction. No matter what you may think or feel, you'll find that the content is such that it just rejects or absorbs or sparkles anything that may be reactive. And it's not considered reactive, it's reactive. A good 50% of our responses have reaction before this transmission. After a while, you'll find that that reaction doesn't happen. So you don't get a sudden, whoa. Things will come to you so smoothly, there'll be no shock. Because actually the shock is what you put through your own body when you switch on the reactive component. And the reactive component is that component that changes the direction of your signal from where it should go into that area that says emotional. So each time you feel some sort of reaction, realize you've just stuffed it up. You've just changed the direction of the signal that was really needed for something else. So you just get on with what you're doing and forget about it. And sure enough, like trying to remember somebody's name, it'll just jump in out of nowhere. Everything we're going to do from now on is going to be related towards the lightness of our being and the lightness of our future, and the ease with which we manipulate ourselves through this world, and how we can include our experience of everything beyond this world and everything in space. I think you'll find that science itself will completely reform in the very near future, so that it will be based on the reality that we know, not on the bits that we tore to pieces, like chemistry, anatomy. They're all tearing everything to pieces and giving you bits. The complete interaction of the whole mechanism of our being, our person, our world, our human entity has to be considered all at once. And the fact that we are totally individual, in as much as we're not even one tiny bit the same, has to be brought into the equation, because we've been shown over and over and over how we're supposed to be the same. And each time we treat one another as the same, someone has to be out of order. The fact that we're all different, we all move different ways, our energy flows are all over the place, even our blood flow, not the same. Nothing's predictable. Yet they have a set of measures that says if you're not this, well, you better have some medicine. It's not a case of sticking to a standard. It's a case of following your own standard and knowing that it's not standard. And it's continually changing. And the only person that can measure it is you. And if you try to measure it with anything outside your own body, it's like trying to paint your house with mud. It doesn't work. You are the ultimate measuring system. You are the ultimate magician. Each and every one of you, individually, separately, and your effect on the whole is just as much as the effect of putting salt instead of sugar into the cake, in the ratios that you would normally use them. It totally ruins it. It doesn't mean that you have to have specific ratios, but it does mean that if you really taste it, if you really taste yourself, if you really allow all those inputs and outputs, you know exactly what to do, and it doesn't go through your brain. All of a sudden, your body's working, it's healthy, it's doing all its own things, and you didn't have to worry about it because you're too busy. Too busy enjoying and celebrating. The balance is about to be changed to where nothing stays steady at all. Everything that holds you on earth is moving. So if you try to stay still and not allow it all to move, you get torn to pieces. The rhythm is the balance. Even on your bicycle, standing still, you've got no balance. You have to be moving, you have to have a rhythm, you have to have motion. Your body is exactly the same. You try to stand it really still, get that sense of vertigo. And you'll start to tip unless you start things moving, dancing. And then you have perfect balance. So the perfect balance is going to be in the lightness of our movement. The perfect balance used to be how much you can plant yourself on the ground. And everyone went around saying, be grounded. That's about to totally change. So anybody who tries to make themselves grounded, they'll feel rather sick, because it's the lightness of your being that is elevating you to where you can actually move throughout this world and other worlds without actually leaving your body. So the advancement in this area is all individual, and some people will go straight to their head and say, I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't either. So it doesn't matter. It's nothing to do with talking, it's to do with the feeling of knowing that we have, that we are going forward, we are going to do the impossible, and we're going to impress ourselves beyond anything. And if that doesn't impress anybody else, who cares? But nobody does the same thing twice, and nobody does it the same. But in combination, we actually play that game of leapfrog. One leaps the other, and then the next one leaps the other, and we gradually use our ability to improve by raising the bar. What we're going to do is have no bar, and no measuring, no floor, nothing to hang on to, and just be you, without any need for anything else. And eventually, all the physical things around you will appear around you as you need them. This is where we're heading. This is what we can remember from where we came from. If you went to sit down, the chair was there. If you looked out at scenery, it was there. If you looked into a cupboard, the cupboard was there. And if you said, let me be where I am, everything disappears and there's no floor, there's nothing to stand on, nothing. So for a fraction of a second, you may think that this is strange. But gradually you'll get used to the fact that that's what you used to do. You want to watch a ball game, you're at the ball game. And it's being put on for you. This is the reality that we came here to demonstrate. And beyond that again, we also came to demonstrate that we could make things appear out of nowhere for other people. This is our ultimate aim, so that we can cast gifts on other people and watch them feel good. That's the real purpose of this opportunity. Not just to be on Earth, but for us to elevate to the point where we can do that over and over and over again. Not to impress anyone, but to see their ultimate enjoyment. We've been put in a position where the only way people on the other side could demonstrate that they were there was by moving things, taking things away from you, making sounds. We're about to reverse that as well. We're going to offer things into their world and say, fine, it can disappear. Let it go to the right people. Let the energies that we've got that will be in excess of what we need to go to all people that we can't see. The workings of the universe are such that they will provide everything that we have a demand on. So if we have a demand on the fact that there's 100 people or 1 million, that our energy field will supply, the universe will supply it without any difficulty and without any strain, because it's an unlimited source. An unlimited source that controls itself is based on what you attract from it. So like each one of us, we're all based the same way. We will supply what is attracted from us. Not what we're asked about, not what we're giving, but what's attracted from us. And it will just come into our field and straight out to whoever needs it. So that's why I often say, use my energy, there's plenty of it. It's just got my name on it until you attract the part that belongs to you. And it is re-delivered directly to you continuously forever from then on. That's how the universal field works. That's how they're now finding in science the plasma field works. But we're beyond that. As again, we're actually, we all talk about being light workers, because the only common thing through everywhere is light. But it's a different form of light than what we're talking about here. It's intelligent light. It's so intelligent, it changes speed and frequency depending on where it is in the universe, so that it can change time functions. It's actually light that gets rid of time. And it's a light that runs faster than the light we see here. It's instantaneous. So they're all trying to find new names for it, and they will one day. But we've been using it since we existed. And now we can use it again into every part of every thing imaginable and be there instantly. Make sure everything's the way it should be by just allowing non-reaction. That non-reaction in our own core allows all the channels to operate properly. And then we have what they call mastery of the universe. Means it's quite happy to work with you because you're not opposing it. First thing your brain says, well, I don't oppose it. But everybody opposes everything unless they can get a question answered. And that's a habit that will disappear. Because as we talk to one another, we don't have to take any notice. We're just having a conversation. You don't have to remember anything anybody says. Just enjoy the conversation. Enjoy the interaction. and know that your fields are interacting in such a way that you're bringing brilliance into the world. You don't have to sit through a lecture, you just enjoy the movement. Someone says, do you remember if he said so-and-so or she said so-and-so? And you go, not really, but it was great. It was a great conversation. And that's the evidence of the fact that the interaction was helping everybody to master something, either in their life or in the universe. And it's usually, I suppose, half a dozen times in your life that you remember a conversation with someone special. You seem to understand some of the words that were said, but you still have no idea why you light up when you remember that conversation. This is because the conversation provided you with the biggest open channel you've ever been delivered in your life. And it's still delivering. So the more you bring those open channels in, the more you'll open for everyone else. I often sit when I'm writing and they talk about opening a new channel, and I go, gee, I must have opened a lot now. And then they'll follow it very quickly by saying, and we'll probably do it again tomorrow. Each time you need to open a new channel, we'll tell you. They never mention anything about the previous ones. They never say the channel is closed. They just say, open a new channel. It's a little bit like walking down a corridor and there's all these doors. They don't tell you to shut the door, they say open a new one. You walk through and the door looks after itself. And you go to the next one, you open another one. So each time a channel arrives that's going to give us more of whatever it is that advances us, we're all going to be told in one way or another to open a new channel. And your brain will say, how do I do that? But as you walk through, it happens. As you take the step forward to open a channel, it just happens. It's like walking into another dimension. You take that one step and you're in there. You often find when you're walking through the woods, you'll feel this sudden change. It's like you pop through into another dimension, and even all the entities around you are different. And you can turn around and step back again and you go, it's changed. And you can actually step both ways. You can do that with opening and closing channels. You don't need to close anything. You leave everything open, so the next person coming along doesn't have to do it. So you all advance easily because somebody was game enough to dare themselves to step forward. And you don't even have to tell anybody. But when you do step forward, you just about jump out of your skin and you go, yeah, woohoo! And you don't even know what to tell anyone. So we're all moving continually, and all these little thrills are going to keep happening. All little events are going to keep happening until it's all part of our language and all part of our life. In the coming weeks, you'll probably hear a lot of changes in general life. It doesn't matter. As you move, everything else changes. It won't look good when it's reported because they can't see all of us sitting on top of the wave, moving along gracefully, because they're only seeing the wash out the back. And if you're hanging out in the back of a speedboat in the wash, it's a little rough. We're going really fast and we're sitting on top. So what they report is the backwash. Everything is working beautifully. Every communication I have, they're so proud of what everybody's doing that there are no words to express the elegance of everyone's being. So now we can look forward to that elegance being maintained by the opportunity that comes to us every day, that leads us to where we've never been before. Thank you all. It's been a great time, and it feels so comfortable that we're getting to where we can talk practical stuff. We'll probably go right off at a tangent next week, but we'll see what happens. Thanks once again. We'll see you next week. Bye.